Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chris Johnson, and I serve as the president and CEO here at Vesterheim. Vesterheim Commons up on the second floor of the building. And we thought for today's discussion, we would talk a little bit about everything to take shape here, and then also chat a little bit about how Vesterheim puts its exhibitions together. And I'm joined today by Lauryn Johnson, and we're going to hear from her from a little bit. You want to say hi to everybody on Facebook land?
Hello.
So we're going to learn a little bit about from Lauryn here. Your job at Vesterheim, you want to tell everybody your job title in that?
I'm a collections assistant here at Vesterheim.
Yep. And you do a lot of the putting together of the exhibitions here at Vesterheim as well.
Yes, I do.
Yep. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that in a minute, but I just wanted to talk about the space for a second. So up on the second floor, this space is designated to be as a gallery space. And you can see the central feature of this that's starting to take shape is this oculus in the center, this open space that will allow you to look back down to the second floor. So it's starting to be formed right now. When all is said and done, this temporary railing will go away, and this will have a cladding on the outside of it and on the inside. So it'll be a nice finished look. The floors in this gallery space will be oak flooring here. So really nice wood in this space. But the walls themselves, this will be functioning as that gallery space. And what's nice about the positioning of this gallery is we also have the ability to move objects easily in and out. So we have an elevator that will go in over on this side. And then down at the far end over here, there's a doorway that connects to our Westby building, this off camera, but will allow for the ease and move of objects in and out. So we see this as a space that we can use for a variety of different exhibitions. So maybe, Lauryn, you could tell us a little bit about when we put together exhibitions at Vesterheim, how do we kind of go about that process?
Yeah, so there's about 3 things that we usually consider when we're talking about an exhibition. One of them is just artifacts and artworks in our collection. We like to consider those first. We also like to honor living artists, local or not. And then we also, trying to think of the third one, we have a lot of traveling exhibitions from other museums that we accept as well, usually a couple times a year.
Yeah. So, and we have a tremendous collection that we build off of for those exhibitions in many cases. As you look around and think about this space, what can you tell you the staff are thinking about as kind of some of the future exhibitions that would be in this space, and what we're kind of thinking about at this point?
Sure. At this point, we are kind of envisioning some fine art, like printmaking or paintings being in this space, maybe some small artifacts on small bases. Right now, our main concern is making sure that there's a regulated climate for those objects. So while the building is developing, those are things we're keeping in mind.
Yep. And certainly this building is designed from the get-go that we're going to have a good climate control system, but making sure everything is running right before we start to put objects in here, that's just part of the building becoming a process. Tell me a little bit about, this is not the only exhibition space that we have here at Vesterheim. Tell us a little bit about some of the other exhibitions that we currently have on display right now.
Sure. So 2 of the temporary exhibitions that we have on display at Vesterheim is Dolls and Playing with Identity, featuring Ronald Pedersen and Hild Hildahl. And Hild's dolls are on display for, I believe, the first time since coming to Vesterheim. So that's pretty special. And that will be up until June 18th. And then on the upper gallery, we have the Erica Skog exhibit, and she's a National Geographic photographer, and she has some Scandinavian photos and some Nordic Fest photos as well. And some of them are for sale as well.
And what's envisioned down the road within the main museum itself, would you say? It's kind of sneak preview for what's coming there as well.
Yeah, so we have a lot of things coming up, actually. So the Gausta exhibit features his paintings. There's a little bit of biography about him, but mainly it will be a fine art exhibit. And that'll be up on 3rd floor coming this spring. And then I have some dates for the other ones. So we'll have Sami Dreams coming July 1st through October 31st. and that's a traveling photography exhibit about photos of Sami people by Randall Hyman, and will also be featuring jewelry that is Sami inspired by some Midwestern artists. And then the embellishment juried folk art show will be July 6th through January 5th of 2024. So that'll be up around Nordic Fest. And since it's a juried exhibition, it'll be a little different than our usual judged exhibitions. So that means that an art selection committee will be taking in the art entries April 1st through April 30th based on an entry and a photo. So there will be no comments for the artists. There will be no points toward Vesterheim's Gold Medalist program, but there will be jurors' choices, people's choice, and best of show for embellishment. And the call for entries for embellishment is online, so people and artists can get excited about that. And later down the road this year, in November, 7 Summers will be up, and those are paintings by Arne Rennen. And our own traveling exhibit, Innovators and Inventors, will be traveling to Stoughton, Wisconsin, based on some Wisconsin stories, which are a little bit different than what Innovators was when it was here. So if you didn't have a chance to see Innovators at Vesterheim, you can always go over to Leaves in Stoughton and see that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think if you haven't been to Vesterheim for a while, you can tell there's a lot of exhibitions that change out here over the course of a year. So there's always usually something new to see, no matter when you come here. We also have quite a few online resources as well. So if you're interested in the collections or exhibitions, maybe you can tell the public a little bit about that as well.
So we have a doll presentation by Bodil Mullaney coming up on March 4th. And Bodil Mullaney is Ronald Pedersen's daughter. So she'll be speaking a little bit about her mother, her own connection to dolls, and doing kind of a show and tell on Zoom. There's also a question and answer component to that. So the audience will be able to engage a little bit by sending some questions her way. And then Erica Skog will also be having coffee with Chris on April 22nd.
Lots going on. When you look at this space, let me just ask you your opinion about that. What excites you about the potential for exhibitions in this space? What are you looking forward to?
I think I'm really looking forward to getting some more of our fine art out and on display. Since I'm pretty into art myself, It's exciting to see that there's so much space for paintings, fine art, printmaking. And the lighting is very good in this space. I feel like there'll be good clear walls for everything.
And we've tried to design this space with the idea that there is some natural light coming in on the north here, going out to the terrace, but it's a north-facing light, so that's a better type of light for the objects that are on display here as well. Throughout this whole process of designing the building, there was lighting studies done to think about how we could use natural light, but also recognizing there are places like this where we were going to have collections on display. And we wanted to make sure that they were well taken care of. So yeah, I'm excited to see what comes in here. And this is a space that's going to be very dynamic. I see over time that's going to change out from time to time. So this will be another space that there'll be something new over time in this space. Just a couple of housekeeping things. First of all, as I've mentioned in some of these other presentations, we are still in the process of our Strong Roots, Bold Future campaign for Vesterheim. This is we've started to send some literature out in the mail about this. If you're interested in being a supporter, we would certainly encourage you to do that and become part of this campaign. For those of you who have supported the Strong Roots, Bold Future campaign, I again want to say thank you for helping to support that. It's donors like you who've helped to create these spaces here. And so we're excited for opening these spaces later this year and the new exhibits that will go in here. The last thing I wanted to say is we are going to be taking a break from these Facebook Lives for the next 2 weeks. On the 17th and the 24th, we won't have one, and then we'll resume again shortly after that. And we'll show you some other progress that's happening here within the building. So with that, thank you, Lauryn, for being part of this today. And thank you all for joining us on Facebook Live this afternoon. And have a good weekend.